Hello and welcome to Horror Stories.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back.
I'm Jbae.
I'm Liam.
Today we're going to go over everything that's horror
And everything that's gore.
about the nightlife industry.
Yeah, you know it. It gets rough out there. It's also fun, but it gets rough.
This is episode 2.
Yes, episode 2. So today we've got our creepy facts, of course, and then Jbae is going to share a story called The Mimic.
Yeah.
It's a personal story. I have not heard it yet again. It's going to be great. I'm very excited.
This is going to be a shorter episode, but we are not sure on how good it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be good, Daddy. So I found all these facts, and this will be the first time that Liam's going to read them out loud.
Yeah, so we're getting like real raw reactions here. Yeah. All right. Fact number 1, everybody. Human remains were a common ingredient used in medicine until the 20th century. What for what?
Dude, honestly, we've been watching that show, The Nick.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
It was like made in 2016, but it's so good.
Yeah.
It's because they just thought that, they had cocaine. They used cocaine for everything. They put it in freaking Coca-Cola.
Yeah, they probably thought that like there were parts of like the human body that could like re-heal you, I guess.
I think women still eat the placenta nowadays.
Yeah, they crush it up and dry it and put it into pills now if they don't want to like blend it into a smoothie.
Oh my God. Smoothie. Grody. But yeah, I think they just thought because the body heals itself that, I don't know. They were just kind of shooting in the dark back then.
Well, I always kind of think too, like, you know, like sperm and whatnot, right? If it can make a baby, it can make me look younger too, right? Like that's what my thought process is. I've heard of people like putting it in their moisturizer or something because like it'll regenerate cells. I mean, it creates life. So does the womb, but
growth.
People get prescribed cocaine. When did that stop and why? Fact number 2. Dentures in the 18th century were often made from deceased soldiers' teeth. That is fucking disgusting. I did not want to know that.
So basically what they would do, like the rich people, because I think George Washington's dentures were just made out of wood, right?
Yeah, they were wooden.
So
he went the natural route.
Yeah, the homeopathic.
Yeah.
Splinters. Imagine him eating your pussy.
Oh my God. No.
Or maybe he would take his teeth out.
Yeah, well then it'd be a good route.
Okay.
But
what they would do is they would come to your house and they would take teeth and like put them up to your face and be like, does this look good? Do you like this? Do you want them to be whiter or not? And you just have to like
pray that you got a soldier that brushed their teeth who died.
And then they just shove them back in your mouth.
Well, to be fair, like the more poor people did have, or I guess we're like technically supposed to have better teeth because they couldn't afford things like sugar. And so like their teeth wouldn't be rotting out as quickly or as bad as the wealthier people.
So back in those days at the insane asylums, they
love it there.
Thought that mental illnesses were connected to disease in your teeth. So one of their treatments would be to remove all of a patient's teeth.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. I think that I remember that from the show too. Yeah, because they did that. Could you imagine just going through life like?
Especially back then, like they're just sawing off your arms and legs and pulling your teeth out, and they're like, "We'll just see if this works."
They're like, "Here's some cocaine and opium. Like, deal with it."
All right, fact number 3.
Fact number 3. Ooh, this is about Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, guys. Disneyland's famous Pirates of the Caribbean ride, or is it Caribbean, wherever you want to be, used real human skeletons. How is that even legal? What? They did not. No way. That's wild. I mean, I guess like 100% for authenticity.
Yeah, so they on the ride, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, back in the old days, they couldn't make stuff as realistic. So,
well, that's very.
It's not anymore. I know that.
That's the lion suit from Wizard of Oz, the original one, was a real lion skin that they fully skinned and then turned into a suit, and this guy had to wear like fucking
the eyes
Chainsaw
were so
Massacre.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Imagine the lawsuits nowadays.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Imagine the movements that would be made. Although I don't know if I could donate my body for science. what? Maybe like I donate my body to Disneyland. Do whatever you want with it. Put me up on display, baby.
They're probably like, if you're not trans, you can't be.
Yeah. They'd be like,
you need to be woke.
They'd be like, you don't have a lot of riz, so we're gonna make you Tweedledee number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, fact number 4. Until recently, it was believed that babies couldn't feel pain, so they often had surgeries without anesthesia. Well, that's why they be crying all the time.
Dude, that is so fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Because I feel like it's because you don't really remember a lot when you're that age, so that's why they think that, but...
Yeah, so, okay, when you get the snip down there as a baby, if you're not going to be, if you're not going to have a turtleneck.
Do you remember?
No, but, like, do they give you anesthesia when they do that?
I don't think so.
Look, just because babies can't vocalize their pain doesn't mean it hurts.
They do
any
vocalize
less.
it. Literally, they do. Like, that baby cries.
Oh, yeah, but a lot of people just block out babies crying because it happens so much, or they're just so annoyed of the infant itself.
I don't think that doctors are annoyed with babies crying.
Okay, maybe
they're
that's
like
just
slapping
me.
them to make sure they're alive, and they just come out of the frickin' womb. We're annoyed with this baby's crying. Shut it up. Shut it up.
Okay, this is why I don't have children. Thank you, everybody, for understanding.
Well, it's because you put your wiener in boys' butts.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've impregnated a couple. Just
Of girls?
No.
Oh.
Moving on. Please give your babies anesthesia if necessary. Don't just be giving it to them randomly. Fact number 5. Some people who have survived bear attacks report being able to hear the sound of the bear's teeth scraping against their skulls. That sounds horrific.
Ugh.
Like, I know, like, the sound of, like, when you get a tattoo, like, on, like,
Yeah.
behind my ear, like, that's weird because I can feel my actual skull, like, shaking, and it's weird, but, like, hearing the scraping.
That's so gross. Honestly, I could not watch that movie, The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah.
That movie was just too much for me, dude.
Yeah. It was a lot.
But I can, like, watch scary movies. But if it's, like, I don't know.
Dude, we fall asleep to scary movies.
If it's really gory, I don't know. Maybe because I don't think I'll get myself into a situation where I'll get chopped up into a million pieces.
Yeah, we're currently knocking on wood for that one.
But, like, anybody could be eaten by a bear.
Yeah, well,
we have
especially
bears up
now.
here.
Well, yeah, I remember I was saying the other day, I was driving down, Lakeside, which is like a commonly well-trafficked in a neighborhood.
Well-trafficked.
Well-trafficked, like not anywhere near a mountain. And there was literally a giant-ass brown bear just chilling in the middle of the road. And I was like, oh.
When was this?
Like a few months ago.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he was just like, what's up? I was like, where's your honey pot, dude? Like, what are you doing here?
What happened?
It was right.
I feel like that was on the news. Would it be on the news?
No, he just looked at me and then he walked away into the golf course. It was right by Lake Ridge Golf Course, on that little windy road, So watch out for bears, human and non-human.
I remember growing up and a lady up in, I think it was Galena or Mount Rose. She was like on a walk and got eaten by a mountain lion up here. That'd be mortifying.
Yeah.
I think dying by getting eaten alive is probably the worst way to die.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say like eaten alive and then like burned.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was this TikTok I was watching the other day about like mothers murdering their kids. It came up on my For You page.
Putting them in the microwave?
She locked both of her children in the oven.
No,
and
my
left them
God.
in there overnight. And the dad came home from work and was like, I mean, obviously, But yeah, she just roasted them all night.
I wonder what the house smelled like.
Horrible. It had to have been horrible.
That is so sad.
So sad. So sad. She had a lot of mental illness, though. Like
They probably should have pulled her teeth out.
They probably should have prescribed her cocaine, as you do.
Circling back to the Nick.
Circling back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she did have a lot of mental illness, though. Like, she was not right in the head. She wasn't just like, she was
that
like,
lady from the Nick. Sorry, we keep talking about this show so much.
Yeah, you guys really should go watch it, though. It's good.
They sent her to the insane asylum because she put her baby's. She thought that her baby had a fever, so she just put her baby's head in ice for way long, and it just died.
I mean, when I'm really hungover in the morning, I shove my head in an ice bath. It wakes you up instantly.
Yeah, but you're not doing it for like ever.
No.
She probably drowned the baby.
She probably drowned the baby. Well, to be fair, this baby wasn't her baby. It was an adopted baby because the first baby died. So she didn't have any attachment to it.
Well, if you're drowning,
that doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying.
You can't hear it crying, so you wouldn't be annoyed.
So I wouldn't be annoyed. I'd be like, oh my God, she finally shut that baby.
We are not baby killers.
No, we're not. We're not. We're just baby. We're baby tolerators.
I thought I wanted kids, but
we have one.
Yeah. Okay. I have my story.
All right, let's get into story time.
This story is pretty...
Can I have a sip of your frap?
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay.
Hey, shout out to Coffee and Comics.
Yeah, Coffee and Comics. You're a coffee fucking bomb.
I think it's called the Harisha?
Something like that.
But it's the matcha frappuccino with raspberry.
Yeah, and like that used to be when I
oat milk.
When I worked at Starbucks, that used to be a very, very popular drink, but this is like 20
this
million
one tastes
times
like
better.
Candy. I don't even know.
It's like creamy. You actually taste the matcha. It doesn't just taste like a green frappuccino with sweetness.
And for 3 coffees, it was $19. Whereas, like, sorry to say, but the Coffee Bar and the Hub and a lot of
other places,
it's like $10 per coffee.
Yeah, it would have been like twice that, or like $35.
But we understand with like tariffs and everything, coffee is really expensive to outsource right now.
Yeah. But they're good. I got the blood in the water, and it's delicious. It's their cold brew with a strawberry syrup and a chocolate drizzle, and it's
Where
fire.
is it?
Oh, I already drank that. I slammed that bitch in a second. On top of my bucked up energy drink. Hi, guys. I'm awake.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
All right. So, guys, this story is called The Mimic.
All right, get your popcorn, settle in. We're going to be listening to a nice story today.
This is a little personal and also scary and also sad. So
right.
I'm going to take my glasses off because I can't read up close with them on.
Oh, I was going to say, just in case you start crying, that doesn't have splashback.
So you can like zoom in on me and see the tear dribble down.
We'll get a dramatic shot.
All right. If I can't read very well, it's because we're shooting this when we first woke up and not usually at nighttime, so
yeah,
I'm still waking up. I'm still waking up.
With the waking up, it was a long couple of days, and it's been really hot. So,
and me and my man got in an argument.
Yeah,
cause I'm a visual learner.
Yeah, he loves to help. Once.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you how to do it, and then fuck you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let me get my sexy voice going because talking about death is sexy. All right, ready? This story begins when I moved into a brand new townhome off of Haskell in Midtown of Reno. I was living with my parents, saving up money by doing bottle service at one of the casinos, and I felt that it was about time that I got my own place again with my dog, Bubba. She was an albino husky pit bull. So anyone who had ever owned either breed knows they are a lot of energy. My mom was sick at the time, and I felt bad having my dog bothering her and my dad all of the time, so I thought it was best for me to just give all of us a little space. At this time in my life, I was always drinking very heavily. Growing up in Reno, it's a 24/7 city, largely focused on gambling and alcohol. So I think I started drinking around the age of 12, which wasn't odd for locals like me.
I think I started at 14.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At the time, I didn't know that my body rejects alcohol, causing me to black out pretty much every time that I drink, making me very mean and putting myself in dangerous situations. So naturally, I decided to work for a strip club that just opened up, where I worked my way from server all the way up to first female and youngest manager in the entire corporation.
Okay, girl boss, let's go. Okay.
I felt untouchable. I know my worth and capabilities, and I always ended up becoming a bar lead or manager at any job I worked at. But this specific job had some very odd paranormal qualities that I had never experienced at any other job before. As time goes by, I become closer and closer to the people I worked with. I became especially close to one of the servers at this club that we will call Candy. Her and I hit it off straight away. She made me laugh, we had the same sense of humor, and we both worked really hard. We eventually became so close that we even took a trip to Sacramento for the day to shop and have lunch. One day, I was getting ready for work. I needed someone to look after my dog because she would bark like crazy when I wasn't home. and it was beginning to really tick off the neighbors. So I had to suck it up and text my parents in desperation to please watch Bubba while I go to work. No response. Well, that's weird. My mom always replies. It's getting later and later, still no response from either of my parents. Okay, this is fucking weird, I think to myself. I'm just going to load Bubba up into the car and head over there. Maybe they're just not by their phones or something. I had this terrible pit in my stomach. Something wasn't right, but I just chopped it up to my stupid anxiety problems. The drive to my parents' house felt like a million miles, but I finally pull up and I see my aunt's black Cadillac parked in the driveway. Maybe she's over visiting, which isn't an odd thing. I go to the door with Bubba and I ring the bell. It takes a while for anyone to come to the door, but finally the door opens and my aunt is standing there with this horribly solemn look on her face. Immediately, I knew something was wrong. Bubba jets past my aunt and my dad and goes straight to my parents' room. All I remember hearing was my dad yelling at her to get off the bed. I look at my aunt and I say, "What's going on?" All she said was, "I'm glad you're here." I walk to the back of the house towards my parents' room and the air just feels dead. "Where is my mom?" I demand to my dad and his sister. "She's already been induced by hospice." All I could think was, what do you mean? Why didn't anyone tell me what was going on? I would have been here sooner. I walk towards the dark room and I see my mom, well, what was left of her. The medication they had given her made it so she couldn't feel any pain whatsoever, but that also meant she couldn't speak. My mom had cancer, but I wasn't aware of how bad it had gotten. Every time we would speak, it seemed she was doing okay and that her treatments were going well. I understand my parents probably just wanted to protect me from pain or something I will never understand, but to this day, I wish they had told me so I could have spent more time with her. I walk in to see her in the bed, skin and bones. The cancer had quite literally sucked the life out of her, giving her a mummified appearance. My brain couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. I began to cry and I put my hands on hers. It was so cold. She was still breathing faintly. The next thing I know, she coughs and yells out, not in pain, but as if she could see that I was there, but the drugs had locked her inside of her body, making her unable to talk or move. A tear rolls down her cheek and my cousin runs in to administer more medication. In fear, my mom was crying out in pain. The entire room begins to spin and I feel unreal. This is a nightmare. There's no way this is real life. There's no way I'm seeing this, and there's no way I was about to see my mom, my best friend, die in front of my eyes. "I can't do this," I cry out and run to my aunt for comfort. But instead, she looks at me and says, "Get a grip."
Oh my God. That's okay. Yeah. Fine.
My cousin sees this and says, "Here, take this to calm your nerves." It was a Xanax, but my aunt wouldn't let me have it. My dad was quiet, in disbelief himself. I sit in the living room in shock. At this time, my childhood best friend and I were on a break from talking because of some stupid fight we had gotten in. But I knew she was the only person I wanted to talk to. Since I knew my number was blocked, I called and texted her mom to tell her what was going on and to have my best friend call me. Moments go by and my phone begins to ring. I answer and it's her. We both begin to cry. My mom was her mom too. We talk on the phone for a while and we set up for her to come back to town to see me. I look at the time and I realize my bartending shift at the strip club begins in 5 minutes. I tell her I have to get off the phone and I will call her tomorrow. I type in my boss's phone number and I call him. He answers, "Hey Jbae, what's crackin'?" "Hey, I'm going to be late to work tonight. My mom's passing away." "What?"
Oh my God.
I repeat myself and he's just quiet on the other end.
Yeah, what do you respond to that?
"Jbae, what are you talking about late? Don't even think about coming in tonight. Be with your family." I agree and hang up. I think I was just in shock because anyone in their right mind probably wouldn't even think about calling their job in a crisis like this. Nothing seemed real. I wanted to drink my sorrows away. I call my 2 guy best friends at the time and have them pick me up. I didn't want to see hospice roll my mom's lifeless body out of the house. I didn't want to believe this was real. I just wanted to get blackout drunk and sleep for the rest of my life. At 2 a.m, I received a text message from my dad that my mom was in heaven. I closed my eyes and cried myself to sleep. I spent 1 week drinking my sorrows away, and then I returned to work. I guess my mind wanted to deal with the grief by burying myself with work. As the club became to get more and more well-known, we were making crazy money. As a server, I was making at least 15 grand a month just in tip money. Yeah, 15 grand. But I still didn't feel real. I went from texting my mom at every waking moment to just radio silence. I began to find myself getting deeper and deeper into the Jameson bottle. going out to the Lucky Beaver after every shift to drink more with all of my coworkers, or having them over at my place to down a bottle to even get to sleep. There was one night that I had some of the girls over after a wild weekend of making too much money. I don't remember any of this night, but it was mortifying to my friends. Apparently, I was talking and laughing like usual, and then I just abruptly stopped and stared into a dark corner of my house. I was sitting on my kitchen counter, not moving and beginning to really creep my friends out. After many attempts to snap me out of this odd behavior, they told me I had stood up on the counter and threw my body at the ground, making me smack my head on the kitchen counter. The girls nursed me all night until they had to leave. The next day, I wake up with a pounding headache, alone in my living room. I lift my head from the couch, and there's a blood stained all over the cloth of my couch. I check my phone, and I find 1,000,000 missed calls and texts from my friends asking if I'm okay because they had to leave for work. They explained what happened to me, and I felt a shiver run down my spine. What could I have been staring at for so long that made me act that way? I shrug it off, hop in the shower, get ready for work myself. I get to work, and I'm greeted by Candy working the front door.
Hey, Candy.
It's still slow, so I have some time to bullshit and catch up with her. I tell her about what happened the night before, and she became really quiet and had a strange look on her face. What's wrong? I ask. She looks down as if she has something to confess. You know how I can never make it over to your house when you invite me? She says, and I say, yeah ho, what's up with that? To try to lighten the mood. I used to live at that exact address when I was young, before they built the new townhomes you live in now. I'm just staring at her because I'm not picking up what she's putting down. Okay.
Wait, so not in like the building that you live in, but like that location, like the plot of land. Okay.
Okay, and our house was demolished because of an infestation of a demonic presence, she says.
Oh.
I quite literally cackle and say she's fucking with me, but she begins to tell the story. All right, so this is Candy. When I was younger, we lived on Haskell Street. My family and I are of Mexican descent, so when it comes to paranormal stuff, we don't take that lightly. There were times where things would go missing seconds after we set it down. Cabinets would fly open, and there was always this feeling of someone was watching you from a dark corner. Things became serious one day when I had a conversation with my mom from my room, and she sounded as if she was in the living room, asking me to come here. And as I was about to walk to her, I got a phone call from my mom. That's weird. I pick it up. Hello? Candy, what are you doing? Where are you? What? I'm in my room. What do you mean? Candy, I have a terrible feeling about something. I had to call you. Aren't you in the living room? I was just talking to you about to come out there. No, Candy, I'm at the market. Don't go out there. I'm on my way home now. Candy, come here. I hear the voice from the living room.
Run.
It sounds like my mom, but I can see that I'm literally on the phone with her. It told me to come here again, Mom. I say in the phone quietly. Do not go anywhere. Shut your door, and I will be home with the priest as soon as possible. I run and close my door. I hear my dog growling a low growl. I had never heard her growl before, and then a loud scratching noise accompanied by her barking and her whimpering. I scream and cover my ears in fear, and I hide in my closet and wait for my mom to get home. An eternity passes by, and I'm startled by my mom coming through the closet door, with tears in her eyes and the priest behind her. Where is Pup? I ask, crying out loud. They bring me out to the living room, where there are claw marks on the ground from the dog's paws. Pup was not a small dog, and she was a big Rottweiler that could not just be dragged by a normal person, especially to the extent of claw marks on the floor. The front door was open when my mom and the priest arrived, so it only makes sense that Pup must have run out the door. She will be back, mija. She just got out of the front door. But that was the last time we ever saw Pup. The priest.
No.
I know, isn't
Not
that
the
sad?
dog.
I hate when movies kill the dog.
I know. It's so unnecessary, okay? If any of you make movies, stop killing the animals. It's unnecessary.
But this is real life. This is not a movie, so this is sad.
Yeah, it's double unnecessary.
The priest asked us all kinds of questions about the activity in the house and chalked it up to an exorcism needing to be done, but eventually deemed it unsafe to live in the house, and expressing in our best interest would be for us to move out. The house was demolished, and the land lay vacant for years until the company who bought your townhomes bought the land and built on it. My sisters and I became so obsessed with what happened to us, while living there that we would go to the local library and look up anything we could about that location. All we could find was that one point, the land had been believed to be Indian burial ground. So whatever spirits that were forced to stay on that land didn't want any new guests to be there. And I'm guessing they don't want you there either, she says to me. I stand there in my little cocktail outfit and fishnets with my mouth on the floor.
Yeah, literally like, what?
Like a little slut.
I'm just a baby girl.
Yeah. What are you telling me, baby girl? Girl, shut the fuck up. Are you serious? I couldn't bring myself to believe her. This bitch is pulling my leg. Like I said, we had the same sense of humor, so she couldn't be serious. But I knew she meant everything that she said when she grabbed me by my shoulders and told me to move out as soon as I can. But how was I going to do that? I still had 6 months left on my lease. And what was I going to say? There's a ghost? LOL. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's expensive to break a lease.
I'll just suck it up. So that's what I did for weeks. But now that I knew about this mimic spirit, things only got worse. Doors would slam. My doorbell would ring. No one would be there. My urge to drink would heighten 10 times when I was home. It's like the thing wanted me to lower my vibration so it could attach itself to me.
Yeah, it's trying to make you weaker.
All right, that's it. I'm moving out, I say out loud. And I hear my voice echo downstairs. I'm moving out.
No.
Exactly the way I said it a moment before. The next day, I pull up my email to begin drafting some sort of excuse to move the fuck out when I see one new message from my leasing agent. We regret to inform you, the message begins, that we are asking you to amicably vacate the premises due to numerous noise complaints. Below is a file attached from one of the neighbors complaining of loud crying last night in the middle of the night that they can hear through their walls coming from your townhome. In the middle of the night?
Weren't you at work?
I'm not home in the middle of the night. So that can't be me.
Oh my God.
I hesitate to listen to the recording. My heart is beating out of my chest. I press play. No, no, please, no, accompanied by crying and ominous moans. This sounded like me, but I knew it wasn't. I knew it was the mimic imitating me from when I had cried before about losing my mom. I was not only disgusted, but also angry and scared. I reply back to the leasing agent and tell her I am completely fine with moving out. Please just give me some time to pack up and find a new place. My guy best friend at the time helped me find a new apartment and let me stay at their house until I could move in. On the night before the move, I was finishing taping up some boxes upstairs in my bedroom when I hear a loud crash downstairs. I jet up and run to see who or what it could be, and lo and behold, one of the large boxes with all of my pots and pans somehow flew from the kitchen counter and slammed into the front door. So the way my apartment was the kitchen was in the back and the front door was all the way at the front.
Yeah, so that bitch had to like fly.
It was not just like it fell from the counter and landed
dropped on the floor.
Yeah, it flew.
It was like it was displaced from one location to another.
Right. I run back upstairs to grab my car keys, but I can't find them anywhere. I'm freaking the absolute fuck out when I hear my keys jingling downstairs.
Oh, hell no. No.
As if the mimic is taunting me for not being able to find my keys.
What a bitch. Right. This mimic, okay, I mean, like, I get it, but, like, also, I'm leaving. Stop.
Right? I vigorously search for them as the jingling continues downstairs when I finally find them on the bathroom counter upstairs. I grab my things and jet out the door without even locking it. The next morning, I tell my dad everything that happened while we're waiting for the moving guys to come load everything up and move it to my new place. After a long day of moving, they get the last box into my new place, and one of them pulls me aside with my dad and says, "Hey, me and my guys are both of Mexican and indigenous descent, and I wasn't going to say anything, but I grew up around this stuff my whole life. We're glad that you moved. Your old house had a very dark presence that we felt when loading your things up, but this new place feels much better." My dad and I stare at him in disbelief at what he just said. Neither of us mentioned anything to the movers about why I was moving. I saw Candy at work that night, and she was so relieved that I was in a new place. What are the odds that the girl who lived at the exact same address, experiencing the same terrifying things, became such a close person to me? I now know that drowning my sorrows in alcohol after my mom's death only fueled the activity in that house, which motivates me every day to stay far, far away from drinking spirits.
Oh, stop. That was great. That was great. That is terrifying. Wait,
Yeah.
so I have a question. So when all of this was going on, had your mom already passed, or was she still in hospital? She already had?
She had already passed.
I bet you she was doing some light work back there for you, girl. Like, Jessica, like, you need to get out of here.
Also, after my mom passed away, her and I loved butterflies. That's why I got this butterfly on my throat. And my dad and I both got tattoos on our arm that say Love Jules, and it has butterflies all over it. So when I came back to work so soon, only 1 week after my mom died, dude.
Only a week?
Yeah, dude. I just had to
Put your head down
put my
and
head
not
down.
think about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
But now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, well,
I
because
couldn't
now
even cry back then.
Now we're processing our emotions, right?
Yeah.
We're not blocking it up with a brick wall.
Yeah, I'm not self-medicating with alcohol.
It's been interesting.
So, anyways, but I remember bussing a table for bottle service, and there was this little bedazzled jeweled butterfly just sitting on the table, and it was a sign from my mom. And then another time I found another bedazzled jeweled, like gold jewels butterfly. And then just recently at work, like a month ago, I'm having a terrible night, you know, like I'm just frustrated, I'm pissed off at these guys, and I walk up to the bar. Lo and behold, a gold bejeweled butterfly hair clip is sitting right there on the bar.
I love that.
And I took it home and I clipped it right onto my light for my vanity. So my mom shows me all the time that she's still there for me, you know.
My grandma's thing was also butterflies and clocks.
Yeah.
We're always like, if you want to like notify us, like my mom is super anal about her clocks, and my grandma had clocks in every single different time zone around the house, so you never knew what fucking time it was. So
what was she, a fucking spy, an international spy?
Yeah, exactly. So my mom was always like, she always said, if you want to see, like, let me know that you're here, either fuck with my clocks or send a butterfly.
I'm on the phone with New York. Get Paris on the phone in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So she did. And there was this time, because my grandma, she had a stroke and she was on hospice. So like that was, I totally understand where you are on that, because I didn't go see her for the first couple of days. I didn't want to see her like that.
Yeah.
And like when I did, it was like a scene out of it. It was like that scene from Twilight when Bella's all like,
yes.
Yeah.
When she's,
yes. It was horrific.
It's like they're just sunken and skeleton.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to deal with it. So I got hammered at her funeral, right? And I dropped the box of butterflies, live butterflies that we released in front of my entire family. And so I was like, well, this is great. Like, this is awesome.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, but so coming back to the clock thing, so my mom has this antique clock. It's got like a glass dome on it, and I think it was my grandfather's. It hasn't worked in years. There's like a spinning mechanism on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Like a week after my grandmother passed, we were coming in from dinner, and we come into the house, and my mom turns around, she goes, what the fuck? She goes, Liam, did you fuck with the clock? And I was like, no. And the entire clock is in full working condition. The spinning mechanism is spinning, the clock is ticking, and it hasn't done that since, I mean, at least I've been alive. I've never seen that clock work. It was the craziest thing.
Like clockwork.
Yeah, it's wild.
This is why I'm like, and I'm not knocking this group of people, but like, how can people be atheists, dude? Like, how can you not believe in
there's
something
beyond?
Yeah. And like, could you imagine just being like, yeah, so when we died, that's it, and there's nothing, and fuck. Like, I would be so depressed.
Well, yeah, because
what's the point of living?
What's the point of living if you can't haunt your enemies after? Right? Like, that's what I'm holding out for. I want to fuck shit up in the spirit world.
Honestly, my ex still bothers me from the grave.
See, they never go away.
Fucking exes, dude.
Dude, get the hint.
Anyways, so
wow, that was a great story.
That was
I'm so glad you don't live there anymore.
Personal story.
We probably wouldn't. I would have never come over.
Girl,
I'm so sensitive to that shit.
Girl.
And we were so drunk at the time, we both would have been fucked up.
I never feel anything scary in this house. I do feel scary things outside though of this house.
Yeah.
Like
in the surrounding
like
area.
how last night I was like, there's something outside, and then that weird ass man was just sitting in front of the house.
She thought it was me because his voice was really similar to mine. I mean, it's not the exact voice. This is all original.
He laughed like Liam. So me and Walter walk out to smoke a cigarette, and the guy goes, ha ha ha. And I thought it was Liam. I was like, oh shit, what are you doing out here? And then it was just
I was in bed.
Random man sitting by our tree, and he's like, I'm just looking at the moon, and like was so creepy, and Walter had to get him out of here, and it was like weird.
And like we live in a very like quiet, good
we live in a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's just not far away from downtown enough.
No. Well, I mean, everything here is like 10 minutes away.
But
15
Walter chalked it up to being just like some drunk guy walking home from the bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
But of course he's pulled to our house.
Right.
Right. Just because we're great.
We just have this energy.
We just have this energy that people just want to suck off.
Oh. All right. That's pretty much it for this episode. For the next episode, I do have some news because my old business partners did come in.
Oh, yeah. We've got a little update.
So the club that got shut down, my business partners, I think they've been watching our podcast. So they ended up coming into my place of work to have some words, which they were very nice to me.
Yeah, good words, though. Good words. Like
yeah.
It was all...
a lot of apologies.
Nice.
And... you know.
And acceptance and responsibilities.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Acceptance of responsibilities.
Except their little server girls that were with them gave me the heebie-jeebies, so I left work. Because I was like, I ain't about to get jumped in this motherfucker.
Yeah, well, and especially not by them.
Yeah. I don't have nails. I'm just kidding. I'm never looking for a fight. I don't do that.
No, we're lovers.
I'm a lover.
I'm a lover.
I will kill
and a baby
you.
girl.
Kind of. Alrighty, guys. Well, like always, like, subscribe. Please tell your friends about us. Share us. You know, if you like to see and actually have little funny moments, YouTube is where it's at because you actually get to watch us. But other than that, we're on all major streaming platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, all of
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Definitely go watch the YouTube, though. We're all over the place and we're crazy, so our bloopers are fucking awesome.
And if you subscribe, then you get notified the second that the video is posted. So podcast comes out at 8, and sometimes the YouTube will come out earlier. So subscribe. Yeah. And follow us on Instagram at Horror Stories Podcast.
Go do it.
Whee! All right, we love you guys. Stay
we
hoary.
Love you. Stay gory.
Bye.
Bye.
It's hot.
It's
hot.
I'm boiling. I'm like.
It's hot. I'm never shooting in the daytime again.